cam content that was posted on the website. So let's elaborate on how how this came about to be an effective content. Okay?
2018, I always want to say 2019, but she actually joined Racco and myself on the StartGBC Working Creative Learning Program 2 semesters ago, I think. But she has a marketing consultancy business called Neecee, so please do check it out. And she her past and has helped her develop this company through working for Google. So she's going to talk to you about today about creating content for content marketing activities and how you can optimize that effort to be picked up by the big search engines, etc. So Nancy, welcome and thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, Neil, for such a warm welcome. It's good to be back. I feel like Georgetown is always like a second home for me. I know my career as a digital marketer started in GBC because when I first started my blog about 4 years ago, I didn't know how to market it, and I was getting about 10 to 5 traffic view on my website, but it was mostly my family and friends. So I decided, you know what, just join George Brown and go learn the right way. And as a result of that, I ended up doing another boot camp at Red Academy. And once I finished that, actually Google hired me, and through my experience with Google and actually learning, working there, I got to become a product trainer and also kind of building my brand as I was working for them full time as well. So today you guys are going to be learning some knowledge of what it takes for us 4 years to be in George Brown, maneuvering to the workforce as well as creating my own business. Okay, so how many of you guys here actually in digital content creation type of business? Awesome. And how many of you guys are in fintech or even like dental? No? Okay, cool. So it doesn't matter what company you have, you're always going to have to be creating content. So in today's lessons, we're going to be covering a lot of the reason as to why content is very beneficial. I'm going to be mostly focusing on content marketing. So a lot of these stuff is like how to market yourself, how to make yourself show yourself on Google, and what's the standard. So a little bit about me, as I said, I'm a certified digital marketer, product trainer for Google, and also content creator, a blogger, and a podcaster. Our today's topic is creative content creation. So the agenda for the day is we're going to be covering intro to content and copywriting, ads copy, blog writing, benefit of blog for SEO, because this is something that organically will be able to help you guys rank up on Google and give you guys more authority. And I know you guys already probably covered SEO, right? And then we're going to be talking about compounding versus decaying blog titles. This is actually going to be very important, especially if you want a consistent traffic to your site. You have to know the difference between writing a compounding and a decaying blog titles. And then we're going to be covering also some content marketing calendar. As a lot of my friends see, they'll be like, oh Nancy, why are you posting at 5 a.m., 3 a.m.? I actually don't post it. Everything is automated. So this is some secret trick that I'm going to show you guys. All right, so content is king. It was mentioned by Bill Gates. That was almost 20 years ago. But what is content really for you guys? What is content? Anybody?
Anything you put out there in the ether. Information.
Good.
It's a material.
In what format?
It's a material in any format that sends a message to whoever the audience is.
Wonderful. That's actually good, guys. Thank you. So yeah, content, copywriting, and value proposition. So it's a text portion of a piece of content, and it can also be a body, a headline, sub-headlines, and also call to actions. So all of these messages that you guys see in the ads, like click now, buy now, learn more, all of these are part of the content. And especially being a Googler, we work in creating ads that kind of like, target you, giving you guys promotions and deal or whatnot, because we're working with content that actually drives that motion for us. And as you can see here, this is actually a homepage from Google My Business. These are all part of content where it says that the first text where it says stand out on Google with a free business profile, and also some of the term people who find you on Google search and maps, and also manage now. All of these are part of content that is basically able to help you navigate into Google's business. So content versus copy versus content is that content can include, as you guys mentioned there, is visuals such as images, video, charts, shapes, and background. Copy itself is just the text part of it, or part of that content. It's the intention behind what information you want to share. So together, they work to actually drive that content, but you also have to have a context. I will talk about context a little bit more. Any questions so far? Or am I going too fast? I tend to speak really fast. Okay,
That's very nice.
Awesome. So, what does a good copy look like? A copy can tell a story. If I actually create a content around Obama, you already know he's a public figure, and I'll be able to describe it with the content that I'm producing. Or I can also change your perspective on things. Maybe I'll write content about Ford models their car is better than Mercedes-Benz, and then now that's kind of give you a different perspective of what kind of cars you're going to be getting. Other times, I can also evoke emotions, whether it's Nike, Coca-Cola. I can do a content creating arts or messages or ads to be able to let you know, like, you know what, Nike's a lifestyle kind of brand, and I do see that you're wearing Nike there.
Yeah.
So, this is some things that kind of evoke emotion to how you can connect with the brand. These are all part of that copy, okay? And so, does your story of your brand actually matters? Of course it does matter. The thing is, a lot of you guys here are business owners or going to be opening a big business, so you need to know how to take that content into perspective to make sure that your message is actually correctly. So what you need to know is like, what you have to say. If, let's say, some of you guys here have makeup or fashion collections, or you have like a product review, or you have a service that you're offering, then you will need to know your audience. Who are you actually trying to produce that content to? Who are you targeting? Are you targeting women's, men's? Are you targeting children's, parents, whoever they are? Then you will need to know, okay, how, if it's a fashion or makeup, you can create a content around how to use that product. And that will actually, if somebody's wanted to be able to learn how to put the makeup properly, they're most likely to learn it from you and also purchase your product. So that's what's also kind of part of the content kind of comes in. And the quality of the product, you can write information about the quality of the product. Maybe it's eco-friendly, maybe it's, I don't know, something that lasts longer. You can also include that in your ad copy to be able to evoke that emotion with the content information. And you can also include deals and promotion that becomes sort of part of the content, okay? Other great example of ad copies and the content itself is the Nike itself here. So it says, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. That is the part of the content and the context that they're doing, but it's a sport ads. But as you can see this, it's not telling you to buy shoes, it's not telling you to buy bags or anything, but it's evoking emotions and it's telling a story, right? So that's also part of that content and putting an ad. At the bottom here, this is a gym ad. The gym ad says, I can barely walk after doing the drill sergeant and the strongman back to back. Obviously right away you know how tiring gym is. For some of you guys go to gym, this kind of already relates to you, right? So that's also part of that content, is speaking for that individual and speaking for that audience that they're trying to target after. And for Shopify, which most of you guys here are actually especially if you're going to be starting with e-commerce, you guys are going to be seeing this type of content, which is the Shopify, build your business. Shopify has all the tools that you need, and it's going to say to you, try for free. That's a call to action. It's part of the content. Also, all of these are content texts that are also part of the message that aligns with you guys. Okay? Things to consider, especially as an entrepreneur, I have to wear many hats. I have to be the CEO, I have to be the writer, I have to be the maid of myself, I have to do all of that. So for some of you guys have to also be a content writer, you're going to be doing the ad copies and all that. So that's why it's very important for you to know that there are 4 elements to consider when you're writing your content. Effectively, you need to know your target persona, who you're writing for. Then you also need to know the context, what exactly you're writing about. And then you can talk about the value proposition. If I see that content, what am I getting out of it? What is the value? Are you actually improving my life? Are you solving my problem? All of these are part of that. And then the FAB is basically the feature, appearance, and benefits. It's the statement. This is like the how. How can you solve that issue that I have? So all of these 4 information you need to know when you're creating that copy of that content. Let me give you guys an example. All of you guys are here because of this particular content, right? This is the summer camp content that was posted on the website. So let's elaborate on how this came about to be an effective content. Okay? So The persona, who are we? Student, alumni, community members, right? That's who they're targeting, right? That ad. And then the context is helping you build your business for social enterprise. Then the values, you get to be connected with college advisors who value your guidance, right? So that's like every speaker that came up here. And then the fab is 7 days only, it's free of cost. And you of your investments for your time and also speed the growth of your business. So right away, when you notice all of these content back here, when you go back,
Did we meet it?
you have it, right? There you have it. So when you're creating any content for your business, always keep these 4 things in mind. And that's how you capture, and that's how you're gonna have a room full of people like this because of that content you wrote. Okay?
Can I go? That's an interesting one, and thank you for putting that in there because that's like. But we had 73 people apply. 73 applied. 37 had the manners to actually follow up with Racco and I when we sent out numerous follow-ups, and 28 people have shown up in the room. So it just gives you some idea of conversion, right?
Yeah.
That just gives you some idea of conversion.
So it's an effective content, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did you track the impressions?
Oh.
How many?
Well, how many impressions we have? Oh, hundreds of impressions and hundreds of views of the sign up. But I mean, it gives. Yeah, we do what we say.
I hope so. So that just proves it. Content is very powerful, right? So your website homepage is the most important place for highlighting all the core elements, especially when somebody lands into your homepage. All you guys gonna have websites. We are in a digital world. A lot of things. Whenever you say like, "Oh, I have a business," the first thing somebody wants is not actually your business card anymore. It's like either your Instagram or your website. If you don't have a website, it's now start thinking about it. It's probably the cheapest option. But this is the homepage for most businesses and most websites they're gonna have. And this is where the content have to speak. You can talk about, I don't know, start your free trial in 14 days, and talks about the trusted by over 165,000 store owners. All of these are basic elements of that website content that helps and gets you to actually sign up to Shopify to be able to utilize their domain out of the hosting site. So when you're creating your website, you create your business, also kind of put that in mind. Who are your audience, and what are you trying to see, and how you're trying to include your value proposition in that first homepage to be able to attract them. Any questions so far? No? Cool. So where do we communicate our copy? Excuse Greg. We have blogs, webpage, ad copy, video, infogram, and email. All of these are places where you can include your content. Okay? So context, that's the most important. You can have a good content, but if the context of it doesn't make sense, it won't go anywhere. It will just be a waste of time of you actually your effort of creating that lovely messaging. So where and when people can view your content is very important. I will show you guys an example of how this can actually go back. And then think about what they did and read before they actually kind of see your ads. So if you're gonna be running a Google ads or you're gonna be running Facebook ads, the placements and the target audience and where they actually see that ad is very important. It can actually hurt your business, and sometimes people will even boycott you. So the example looks something like this. So this one brand is a coffee brand, okay? They say enjoy a cup of second coffee, right? But look, they place their ad in Yahoo site, news site, and it says coffee might trigger the first heart attack in some. Now, do you want that coffee? Right? So these are some things that you need to consider when you're writing a copy. You have to make sure that your ads are not showing up in misleading information, because right now, if I'm actually thinking, like you guys have Tim Hortons, Starbucks, if I'm thinking of a second cup, I'm like, oh, heart attack, I don't want it. So these are some of the things to consider. So any questions? Yeah?
What did FAB stand for again?
Is feature, advantage, and benefits.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there's more slides I'm actually going to explain it later.
Okay.
So blogging is actually one of the most important things. It doesn't matter if you're dental, you're a lawyer, you're fashion, or whatever industry you have. This is one of the key things that helps your business to rank up on Google, because you can do SEO as part of the growing your blog. You guys okay? Awesome. So that is why it's very important for you, if you're gonna be creating a website, consider also adding some blog. Some of these blogs you can actually explain your product. Other times you can actually explain about why you're better than the competitors. So all of these kind of helps you to rank up and also make you become like an authoritative person who actually explains it better. So if somebody's in the consideration phase, I don't know if you guys learned about the marketing funnel. Yeah, so they will be able to consider you, right? So 8 out of 10 people actually would read the headline. Just whatever you wrote in that headline, that content, you'll actually get them to actually think about whether they want to read the rest of the blog or not. And only about 2 people, which is 20% of people, actually end up reading the blog itself. And if those 2 people end up reading it, they might end up buying from you. So that's the 20% of the sales that you're going to generate from that lead, right? All right. So make sure that it's also crafting, is engaging, and you're communicating with your target persona, as we mentioned earlier, the 4 elements. Also put that in mind when you're creating that content. Benefit of blogging, as I mentioned, improving SEO, demonstrate industry knowledge, create brand awareness, and also generate traffic and lead. Whenever I'm doing anything has to do with marketing, for Google or Facebook Market, I always look into the client website and I also check their blog. What are they posting in the blog? What information are they posting? And the landing page that I'm actually leading the person into to be able to sell and convert, that landing page also has to speak for the audience that we're trying to target. So all of this also come into place with understanding the content that we have on the website. So use Google SEO on page, strong headlines, relevant sub-headlines. Sometimes you guys also have to do the hyperlinking. If your blog can actually be associated with another blog, or there's, let's say, a peer-reviewed journal that's done somewhere, and your brand is associated, kind of aligns with that, you can also include hyperlink to that original article. When the Google bot actually crawls, it would also kind of boost your traffic because it kind of makes you kind of aligns with whatever that new content is talking about. And here's an example of my website. It says weekly feature blog, Neecee Lexy, and then basically explain what is the features includes. What I do is I interview CEOs and founders from around the globe about their business stories and success tips. So this is something that you can also find on the website when you go read about it. So there's a lot of people that are interviewed there. The most important part of blog writing, there's 2 styles of blog writing. One can actually help you for just the meantime, which is, we call it like the gimmick trend, and then one can help you in the long run. So the compounding versus decay. Compounding basically is title that increases the traffic over time. So evergreen blogs. And then the other one, the decay, is the title generally have a traffic for the first time, but it lowers over time. And that could be something like, let's say, we have an Olympic in Canada, and you just want to couple with the Olympic for 2022, and that's it. After that Olympic is done, that blog is no longer serving this purpose, so it's done. But if you have other examples that we're going to have in the next slide here, so these are just some of the topics that we have. So we have oral, hygiene, smart TV, house mortgage, travel. For compounding, it looks something like this: how to get rid of bad odor for good, right? But when we're doing the decaying, we just only writing the headline, like a study shows that 40% of people have bad breath. Okay? That's a lot of people. So, smart TV, we can say something like this: smart TV reviews. What reviews? It doesn't matter if it's 2022, or even 1999, right? It doesn't matter. So it's an evergreen type of thing. But if you want to make it, we can say 2022 top best smart TV models. This article is only going to serve its purpose for this year. After this year, it's no longer relevant. So avoid using those type of headlines unless you want to just grow a traffic for that specific seasonality. If you're creating, like, let's say, a seasonality sale type of product, then you can use this type of block. And then for the house mortgage, you can say something like top rated first time home buyers, and then the same thing when you put a date, or even like travel. If you want to make it discount for this year, you can be like, well, why should you visit Greece this fall, as opposed to how will it cost to travel to Greece from Toronto, something like that. So the title that you make will either break your traffic or kind of grows it over time. Yes, question over there.
What is your opinion on recycled content?
So recycled content, in what context? So sometimes what I do is I would repurpose it to different channels. That works because what I end up doing is I would create one content for my YouTube, and then I'll try to repurpose that same content for my TikTok and for my Instagram, but I will cut the shorter version of it. And then I will try to tweak it a little bit just sometimes because the audience that I have in Instagram is different than the audience I have in YouTube. The YouTube people come for the longer video from me, as opposed to Instagram is just like a short clips.
Excuse me, for the algorithm, would you say the compounding titles is more generalized, so it wouldn't be advantageous, like if you're trying to get on top of the Google algorithm? That's pretty cool.
The time decay one, it won't be advantageous for you because it would only serve its purpose for this time frame that you have. But the other one, the compounding, it will serve its purpose for the longer run. So let's say a year or two from now, somebody's still looking for how to get rid of bad breath for good. They're still gonna be looking for that title, right? Until the end of time.
Well, I mean, if you're like trying to sell for this year, right?
Yeah.
The goal is for this year. I
You
mean,
will go with the second
You
one.
put 2022, then, I mean, you just update it for the following years to come, right?
Oh, if you wanna go back and change the title,
Yeah,
essentially?
yeah, especially if you're trying to be on top of the algorithm, right? Obviously, you also have to pay all that.
So what I normally do with clients, I would have them do the just for this year title and leave it as is.
Yes.
But then we would have another title, another blog that talks about the evergreen. So we change the title a little bit. Instead of just kind of putting it for this year, maybe we can just talk about that product specifically for the long run. So maybe next year when it comes back again and somebody else is looking for it, they'll start seeing it. So just change the
you're saying
title.
It's better to just
Do two.
duplicate it, right? So
Yeah.
one for the year and one like just for like compounding, just for the like generation.
The other thing with duplicating, especially for SEO sake, if Google starts seeing that you're duplicating the thing, it's actually going to shadow ban you. It's not a good practice. So you need to refresh that content and make it look like either add like a hyperlink for the original content that you have. So that way, if somebody wants to read the original one, they can go back to it. But the new copy, you need to change it a little bit. So that way, with the Google bot is scanning it, it's scanning as new material. Yeah. Any other question? How are we doing with time, Stacey? Good? Okay, so write the headline exercise. All right, so we need to do a little exercise for you guys. Obviously, we talked about headlines. We're gonna take about 5 minutes, 7 minutes. So maybe you guys get into groups, and any one of you guys can volunteer their brand, and then we're gonna be writing an example of compounding versus either one group will kind of choose, you guys can choose a compounding topic, those people will choose a decay, and then this table here, you guys will choose a compounding and a decay, and then also the back, just like two tables, okay? Alright, so I'll give you 5 minutes to work together. So I will just put it from the middle, okay, so from the middle here, so you guys are, 4 of you guys are a group. You guys are groups, and then you guys at the back, are groups, and
We are here?
yeah.
We are only four.
No, all the 4 in the back is one group, these, all 4 here. So come up with writing an example of a compounding. Yeah, so this side we'll write a compounding, this side we'll write a decay. But for you, company.
Which one do you are now?
So we.
Will you be our captain?
Yeah.
We can do